Hello, my good boys. So I have another question that somebody has asked me. They asked me, what is domination? So I'm going to give my take on domination. It's different than probably any other perspective that you're going to hear. And part of that might be because when I first got into domination, I didn't Google what domination was. I didn't talk with other doms to find out what they were doing. I knew I wanted to do it my own way. I knew I wanted to find what worked for me, and I wanted to play with that and kind of construct and form and mold and create a world of domination that, for me, was about satisfying my pleasures and not about finding out what the industry standard was or what other people were doing, because fuck other people. People do what they want, but that might not really include my perspective. And the only person who has like really truly expert perspective on what pleases me is me. So I went with that. So I got my first slave. He lived in Brooklyn, and he was a sort of fighter type and bouncer at a strip club on weekends, and he was really just a big teddy bear. But he introduced me to quite a few things. And one of the first sessions we did, actually, after I vetted him and found out that he was not some kind of creep or crazy person before inviting him into my home, I was handed something that looked kind of like a dog collar. Have you guys seen shock collars before? So this guy had modified a dog's shock collar to fit around his package, and he gave me the remote control for it. And so I sent him to work cleaning the apartment, doing things for me, massaging my feet. There may have been a little ass worship involved, and I could shock him whenever I felt like. So that was one of my introductions to the playing with dominance and submission. And some of the things that we played with were really interesting to me, and I built upon and played with more later in other sessions and things, and some of them sort of fell away and weren't that interesting to me. But it did give me a pretty broad perspective on different options that are there with dominance and submission, and so I'm very grateful for that good boy. He also offered to get a tattoo for me. He gave me his vote because there was an election that year, and it was just kind of a fascinating little exploration into the beginning of dominance for me. And what he told me on the phone the very first time I spoke with him was, imagine what it would be like if you walked down the street knowing that you owned a man. And in that moment, I recognized something. I knew that I was made for that was just very likely what I was going to be doing. And it's kind of only a matter of time. And then since then, I've acquired a few good boys. And I don't always call them slaves because to me, slavery actually implies a sense of obligation, and I don't really like that when it comes to this play. For me, it needs to be about fun and what's sexy and what's next and what's exciting for me in the moment, but it never really includes obligation in the sense of someone being enslaved where there's no other option. It's actually more like they become so addicted to me that they couldn't even imagine going anywhere else. And if they do, they become dreadfully sorry about it and realize that there's nobody else other than me. So that kind of 10-second choice, like every single moment that a good boy has the option to serve me or to do anything else in their lives and they choose me, that's way, way, way more valuable to me than saying you serve me and that's it and you have no other choice. It's actually much more exciting the way I've invented it. So what else about domination? Well, I teach classes on it. So if there are women out there who are interested in learning about domination, even in your daily life when it comes to business or relationships or behind closed doors, that is something that I do private sessions on. I'm not cheap, but I have a lot of information on it, and I can help you probably get what you want better than anybody else could. Yeah, dominance and submission. They're flip sides of the same coin. It's like if there weren't submissives out there, I'd look pretty silly having all these desires as a dominant woman, but you being a submissive is really something that adds a level of excitement and pleasure to my life that if you didn't exist, wouldn't be there. So I also want to thank you. Thank you for being a good boy. Thank you for being submissive. Thank you for being vulnerable and open about the desires that you have. And hopefully we'll be playing more very, very soon. All right. Bye-bye.